Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Miller and my presentation is on Incentives, Inducement, Advertisement for Recruitment. The objectives for this presentation are: number 1, explain what research incentives are and their importance. Number 2, understand the concept of undue influence and coercion. Number 3, explain how incentives can be potentially problematic. Number 4, describe the challenges of recruitment and types of recruitment used. Number 5, understand important points of recruitment. And finally, number 6, describe the importance of recruitment content. I want to begin our discussion by starting with the topic of incentives in research. Questions related to the use of incentives have been on the rise since the demand for research subjects are increasing. This is due to policies requiring the inclusion in research of those with a wide range of demographic characteristics, such as women, children, and racial minorities. The term incentive refers to a particular kind of offer that is employed in a negotiation and includes anything offered to participants, monetary or otherwise, that encourages participation in research. Incentives share a set of core characteristics. These include an offer that is made in which an intrinsic benefit or bonus. The offer is expected to elicit a particular response. The offer is usually made in the context of an authority relationship, and the offer is made to alter the status quo by motivating a person to choose differently than he or she would likely to choose in its absence. Research incentives are often discussed with compensation. However, federal regulations provide no clear guidance on the level of compensation that should be offered to subjects that are participating in a study. Participants need to be able to make an informed decision before they participate. This informed decision needs to be based on the risks and benefits of participation and not on the compensation. The confidentiality of the information related to payments needs to be protected, and the IRB needs to review the protocol plans for subject compensation. What really motivates people to participate in studies? For example, research suggests that one of the reasons why people participate in surveys is egoistic reasons, such as liking the money. Research incentives are not coercive in and of itself. However, there could be times when research incentives can be potentially harmful. There are two important concepts that need to be taken into consideration when discussing incentives. First is the concept of undue influence. This refers to an offer of excessive or inappropriate reward that is made in order to obtain compliance. A high level of compensation may induce subjects to participate against their better judgment. An example of this is a researcher offering a month's salary to students participating one day for a study to test the effects of a drug with potentially negative consequences. The second is coercion, which is an overt or implicit threat of harm or negative consequences that is intentionally presented in order to obtain compliance. An example of this is a professor telling students that they will lose a grade point if they do not participate in the study. Can incentives really be problematic? The answer is yes. Incentives have the potential to be problematic for a researcher. Incentives can be problematic when joined with the following factors. The subject is in a dependency relationship with the researcher, the risks are high, the research is degrading, and the participant will only consent if the incentive is large. We are now going to watch a short video clip on survey incentives.
Good afternoon, Catherine. Some researchers say the larger the sample, the more accurate the data. But what if offering an incentive causes people to answer the survey in a different way?
And I decided I would like an iPad, so I took it. little cost, big benefit.
Incentives are ways to encourage people to answer surveys, but Professor Valerie Barker says people could feel coerced into completing the survey for the incentive.
When you offer incentives, whether it's a sum of money or an item to win, or it might be extra credit for students, then essentially you are affecting or potentially affecting the sample.
Researchers conduct surveys in order to see trends in certain populations by looking at the data. A survey asked students to rate their favorite eateries around campus by freshness, quality, and service. In return, students were entered to win an iPad. Barker says incentives can affect the value of the data, and she questions the ethics of gathering data in that manner. For example, a survey conducted last year by the SDSU bookstore about rental books questioned 5,700 students, with the incentive being 3 $500 bookstore gift cards. Ben Eisenstein, marketing manager for campus stores, says the more people surveyed, the more accurate the results will be.
Money is tight with college students. I know it was when I was in college, so we try to help them out where we can as a token of appreciation for both their ongoing business with us and also for participating, in a survey.
Barker says incentives push students to complete surveys because they are strapped for cash.
Students are, as we know, under a lot of pressure, don't have a lot of money, and want to do well, typically. So that makes them somewhat vulnerable.
In order to ensure accuracy, sometimes researchers place certain questions to measure the likelihood of whether or not a participant is taking the survey just for the incentive. That iPad or gift card may look enticing to you, but in the end, it could skew the results. For Aztec News, I'm Deanna Cross-Playo. Back to you in the studio.
Let's move on to the topic of advertisement for recruitment. Recruiting participants is a major challenge and includes a number of activities. To start off, eligible participants need to be identified. Recruiting participants is more important to ensure an adequate sample is obtained based on the study goals as well as the design. Most importantly, informed consent needs to be obtained while maintaining ethical standards. Furthermore, the participants need to be retained until study completion. Flyers, posters, and brochures are often used to recruit potential subjects. These types of advertisements are placed in strategic locations such as bulletin boards, offices, schools, public transportation, etc. Other recruitment approaches include sending letters, placing phone calls, advertising in newsletters, papers, and television. This is an important step in research, and there are important points that need to be considered. The first is respect for privacy. The recruitment method should respect the individual's privacy. Researchers need to consider whether subjects feel as though the recruitment method represents an invasion of privacy. The second consideration is vulnerable subjects. Additional safeguards may need to be taken when dealing with this population. This population is likely to include people that may be particularly susceptible to coercion or undue influence. Examples of vulnerable subjects include children, prisoners, pregnant women, mentally incompetent, etc. The third consideration is cultural considerations. Researchers must know the customs of the subject population in order to develop a culturally appropriate recruitment method. For example, does permission from a community leader need to be obtained prior to recruitment? Researchers need to be aware of the importance of private medical information. It is generally not appropriate for researchers to contact subjects through their private information. An additional point that needs to be considered is conflicting roles. Individuals may want to be contacted by someone that they have established a relationship with. The final point that needs to be considered in regards to recruitment is therapeutic misconception. Some patients may believe that a research study proposed to them will benefit them, even if the research notes that it may offer them no benefit. Recruitment methods need to deter therapeutic misconception. I'm going to play a short video clip further explaining therapeutic misconception.
What can you expect if you decide to take part in a research study? Research is not the same as treatment. When you visit your doctor or clinic, they will do everything they can to help you. They will run lots of tests. They will try new treatments until they find one that works best for you. Many people believe they will receive this kind of treatment if they take part in a research study, but this is not true. They will only get the treatment that the doctors are studying. When people think they can get the best treatment for them in a research study, we call this the therapeutic misconception. Research studies test one treatment or medicine. The study doctors will not find a treatment that works best for you. All people in the research study will receive only one of the treatments described in the consent form. This means that you may not get the best possible treatment for your condition. Instead, you will receive a treatment the study doctors want to test. Remember, we do research to find new treatments that might help people in the future. You might feel better when you take part in the clinical trial. It is also possible that you will not feel better while using the study drug. You might even feel worse. If the treatment is not working for you, you have the choice to drop out of the study and consult your regular doctor for a new treatment, or wait until the end of the study to explore other treatment options. These are important things to consider when deciding to participate in a clinical study.
We will now move on and talk about the content for recruitment materials. When the researcher starts to develop recruitment materials, it is important that the information is not misleading or coercive. Furthermore, it should not make false or exaggerated claims. When recruiting, confidentiality needs to be considered. For example, a sign-up sheet with contact information should not be in public view. Recruitment materials need to be in a language that is simple and straightforward. An 8th grade reading level is generally recommended. The name of the institution, department, and contact person with contact information needs to be provided. The purpose of the research, as well as the eligibility criteria, needs to be included. Furthermore, studies that involve experimental drugs or devices need to clearly state that they are experimental. The location of the research, as well as the time commitment, should be clearly noted. Finally, benefits of participation, as well as compensation, should be there as well. We are now going to take a minute and read over an example of acceptable wording for recruitment and an unacceptable wording for recruitment. It is clear that the second example is inappropriate because it is misleading and unclear. An example of acceptable wording: vitamin B2 research study. You're invited to participate in a study evaluating the effects of vitamin B2, conducted by Dr. Kando at the University of California, Berkeley Department of Nutrition. This study involves 6 one-hour visits over 3 months, having blood drawn, and drinking vitamin B2 mixed in different beverages. Compensation available. If you are at least 18 years old, do not smoke, are right-handed, and would like more information about participating, contact the investigator/graduate student at that phone number. The second example is an example of unacceptable wording. Earn $500, get free medical care. It is clear that the second example is inappropriate because it is misleading and unclear. Let's go over another example that shows an advertisement that would not be approved by an IRB. Lose weight fast and receive cash. Join an exciting weight loss study. Are you a teenager? Are you fat and want to lose weight? If you answered yes to these questions, you may qualify to participate in a weight loss study. You will receive a free medical evaluation and participate in a cutting-edge nutrition program. You will also receive money and parking vouchers. No medications will be given. Call the number for more information. So, what is wrong with this advertisement? The compensation is emphasized. The ages for eligibility and the purpose is not specific. There are terms used that can be considered offensive. There's contact information, but no contact person. and the study location is not included in the advertisement. The next advertisement is an advertisement that meets IRB approval. Weight loss prevention diabetes study. Be part of an important nutrition research study. Are you between 13 and 21 years of age? Do you want to change your eating habits in order to lose weight? If you answered yes to these questions, you may be eligible to participate in a nutrition research study. The purpose of this research study is to compare the effectiveness of different diets in preventing type 2 diabetes. Benefits include a comprehensive medical evaluation and individual nutrition program. Participants will receive an incentive payment and a voucher for free parking. No medications will be given. Both adolescents, 13 to 17 years of age, and adults, 18 to 21 years of age, are eligible to participate. The study is being conducted at Central Hospital, 1234 Main Street, USA. Please call Beth Woods at the following phone number. The type of research, ages for eligibility, and purpose are clearly stated in this advertisement. The benefits of the study are included and the contact name is available. Finally, the institution where the research will be taking place is included in this advertisement. These previous examples show the importance of advertising for research. This brings me to the end of my presentation, and I want to recap what we went over. First, we discussed research incentives, what it means, and we went over the core characteristics that research incentives share. We then discussed how research incentives can be problematic, and I went over the concepts of undue influence and coercion. Then we moved on to advertisement for recruitment, discussed types of advertisement, important points for consideration, and content for recruitment. I then concluded with examples of both good and not so good advertisements to give you a better idea of the importance of advertisements. I'm attaching the articles for you to read on your discussion board, and I'm listing the questions here as well for you to view. Question number 1. Based on the presentation and article by Singer and Cooper, 2008, do you think incentives should be used in research? Why or why not? Question number 2. Researchers face many recruitment challenges in the article by Butterfield, Yates, Rogers, and Hilo, 2003. Note that researchers frequently depend on clinics or other health agencies to help identify potential subjects. Based on your population of interest, what potential recruitment challenges might you encounter, and what recruitment method or methods do you think would work the best? Thank you for viewing my presentation, and I'm looking forward to our discussion. The following slide I have listed my references. Thank you.